Opening, the test of cruelty. The Tarthak Dominion prided itself on being the arbiters of strength in the galaxy. To them, conquest was not only law, it was religion. When their fleets swept across the mid-rim, entire worlds knelt or burned. Their doctrine was simple: test the limits of every species. If they broke, they were weak and fit only to serve. If they resisted, they would be erased. When humanity's outer colonies expanded into the mining belts of Narnis, the Tarthak saw an opportunity. They announced a trial. A fleet descended on Haven 9, a peaceful colony of 50,000 farmers, engineers, and children. No soldiers, no weapons. The Tarthak High Marshal broadcast their terms across every channel. Humanity, prove your worth. Survive 3 cycles of fire. If you endure, we will acknowledge your existence. Fail, and you will be erased. What followed was not a battle. It was slaughter. Orbital bombardments rained down like judgment. Whole districts melted into glass. Children were herded into the open as the invaders laughed, recording the screams. Haven 9 did not last 3 cycles. It barely lasted 3 hours. And the galaxy watched. Tension build. The arrogance of the invaders. When the colony was ash and ruin, the Tarthak gathered their admirals and allies for celebration. They played recordings of the massacre in their grand halls, laughing at human pleas. "This species is soft," one general declared. "They cling to life but lack the iron to defend it. They will fold like wet parchment." "We have tested their limits," another sneered, "and found them pitifully low." Alien courts across the galaxy nodded in agreement. Humans were new, young, barely a century into the stars. Civilized, yes, but timid. They sang, they traded, they studied. But war, true war, that was beyond them. The Tarthak spread their verdict like a decree. Humanity was weak, safe to exploit, safe to mock. They did not see the silence that followed. They did not understand that when Earth did not answer immediately, it was not surrender. It was calculation. It was restraint, and in that silence, one quiet human stood. The turning point. A quiet human speaks. His name was never shouted in the streets. He was no general, no politician, not even a soldier. He was a diplomat assigned to the outer colonies, an observer named Elias Marek. He survived Haven 9, crawling from the ruins with glass fused into his skin. His family burned to ash. When he was retrieved by a patrol frigate days later, he said nothing at first. He simply stared at the stars, silent, broken, or so it seemed. But in the weeks that followed, Elias spoke a single phrase into the encrypted channels of Earth's Defense Council. "They tested our limits. Break theirs." That message ignited the machine. The quiet man had given the order without ever raising his voice. And Earth listened. Mobilization. The silence. Shatters for weeks, the galaxy mocked humanity's inaction. Fleets of other empires dismissed them as cowards. But deep in the black, Earth's shipyards roared awake. From Luna's hidden dry docks rose dreadnoughts the size of mountains, their hulls etched with silent prayers. Mars bled steel and fire, pouring out cruisers like molten sparks. Titan's foundries awakened, building war machines that had never seen battle outside simulations. The comms grew heavy with transmissions, fleet command to all stations. Silence protocol lifted. Mobilize Earthguard. Mobilize every colonial fleet, no quarter, no negotiation. For the first time in galactic history, Earth moved not as scattered colonies, but as one species, one will. Humanity's patience had ended. Climax. Humanity's answer. Counterstrike began with no warning. The Tarthak armadas lounging in orbit of conquered worlds suddenly found their suns eclipsed, not by natural bodies, but by fleets. Human dreadnoughts emerged from folded space like steel leviathans, their silhouettes blotting out the heavens. Then came the voice. Calm. Terrifying in its restraint. Elias Marek himself speaking over every channel. "You tested our limits. Now face ours." What followed was annihilation. Missiles rained like meteors, cutting through shields as if they were parchment. Rail cannons thundered with the weight of mountains, splitting battlecruisers in half with single volleys. Human marines, clad in black exo-armor, descended on planetary garrisons like storms. Cities that had mocked Earth burned in the night. The Tarthak tried to rally. Their admirals barked orders. Their war priests chanted defiance. But against humanity's cold fury, they were as children screaming at a tidal wave. In 4 days, entire Tarthak fleets ceased to exist. Worlds fell silent, their proud banners trampled into the dust. The galaxy's observers trembled as they watched live feeds of human forces advancing without pause, without mercy. The breaking of the Dominion. The final blow came at the Tarthak capital itself. Their homeworld sky turned black as hundreds of human ships hung above it. The dreadnought Iron Will descended lower than any battleship should dare, its cannons aimed at the capital spires. Elias Merrick himself stood on its command deck. He did not scream. He did not roar vengeance. He simply whispered into the calm, "End it," and the sky split open. Orbital fire rained with biblical fury. Spires crumbled. Vaults shattered. The Tarthak Dominion, once unassailable, once feared across 100 systems, was broken in a single storm of wrath. Resolution, the whispered fear. When the fire dimmed, silence ruled. The Tarthak that survived crawled from their ruins, their once proud warriors kneeling in the ash. Their empire was gone. Across the galaxy the message spread faster than light. Never provoke Earth again. Merchants whispered it in shadowed ports. Admirals muttered it in secret councils. Entire empires rewrote their doctrines overnight. Humanity, the species once mocked as fragile, had proven a truth the galaxy had ignored. Their limits were not weakness. Their limits were patience. And patience, once broken, was transformed into vengeance without end. Elias Merrick returned to Earth quietly. He spoke no victory speeches. He accepted no parades. He simply sat in silence, the weight of ash still on his skin. But every leader, every soldier, every citizen knew. One quiet human had broken the test. One voice had shattered the arrogance of an empire. And from that day forward, the stars held their breath whenever Earth was mentioned. Because the galaxy had learned this lesson, carved in blood and fire. Humanity's patience is vast, but their vengeance is infinite.